Hi, everybody.
This is the cart provider. Can you assign me to type? I think is the language it's used.
Okay, let me see. Um, um, ah, mm, mm. Hold on, come on. Um, are you still here? I can't find you.
Yes. It's under captioner, Trish.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Sorry, I changed my name last minute.
It's okay. Um, I'm trying to do it through the interpreter um button, but I don't see it for
Is there a captioning button? Maybe?
captioning.
I
There
don't
should
know what
be.
it
There's show captions.
um
Um, thing.
I'm not much help because I don't know
I
what it looks like on your end.
wonder if it'll change if I also make you a co-host. So I'm gonna do that. Do you see anything additional on your end?
No.
Okay.
Um
Host controls. Set up
it
manual captioner. Okay.
oh, there it is. That sounds familiar.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn this on and then assign you more. Okay. Wait. Oh, that's hold on 1 second. Why isn't it working now? Assign. Yeah. I'm trying to assign you, but then it um goes into the message. I see it because when you go to the show captions and you press the arrow, it says set up manual captioner. I pressed on and then assign someone to type. Assign a participant to type. I click that and then it shows the participants and then and click you. Oh, assign to type. Okay, there we go.
There it is. Thank you so much.
All right. I also made the ASL interpreter co-host, and they are also pinned.
Perfect. Thank you.
We're gonna wait just a few more minutes to make sure everyone uh, gets in the meeting. I'm gonna say we can officially start around 11:10. If that's good with you guys. All right, it's been 10 minutes, so we can officially start. Um, so my name is Harm, and I am the new youth coordinator here at April. I will be the one facilitating us in these groups. Some things about me is I grew up in Texas and I now live in California. I was part of the Dale McIntosh Center, which is an ILC, as a consumer, and then a youth, and then a volunteer, and then a staff as an ILS instructor. So I've been part of an ILC from pretty much all angles. Some things about me are that I like sushi, burgers, coffee. I like to play video games, swim in the summer, play basketball, listen to music, things like that. Um, does anyone have any questions about me? Where'd you go? Okay. Oh yeah, chat. Thank you. Okay. Um, does anyone else want to introduce themselves, what center they're from, and something exciting that they're working on?
I can introduce myself. I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Shireen. I am the Youth Transition Coordinator for Disability Rights and Resources in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are currently working on our Summer of Independent Living, where we're doing youth activities every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in our center. And we are, doing independent living skills training. Our next session will be next Thursday because this Thursday is the 4th of July. We're actually going to travel train our consumers, and we're going to go to an art walk.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and they are going to enjoy the art walk, and then we're going to have ice cream.
That sounds so cool.
And thank you for listening. And it's nice to meet you, Herm. Welcome.
You too. Does anyone else want to introduce themselves and what they're working on? If you don't want to say something out loud, you can always put it in the chat too.
Hi. Hi, I can go next.
Okay.
My name is Sarita. I'm from Disability Connections, Jackson, Michigan. I'm director of services here. Basically, this year our priority is for like through our services. We're focusing on youth programs basically because they are, we want our youth to be independent as much as possible basically. And we just completed our summer internship program we have pre-employment transition programs in our schools around 3 counties we serve. Basically, from those schools, we had a couple of students attended for that summer youth program. I mean, my internship program. We worked with Michigan Works. We collaborated with them, and they got stipend, and they got all kind of employability skills. And we had teachers from there, and our life skill advisor, who basically leads the program, youth program. She facilitated that internship, and it was really great experience for our youth because they said like, oh, okay, they want to work,
Yeah.
so this kind of activities basically motivates and encourages them how important it is to be in the workforce, and then how important it is to have certain kind of skills and knowledge to be prepared for the work. So that was really great program. This is second year through our center, so we are hoping to continue that in future as well because we have good, really great partnership with the government agency who does that all the time for our individuals with disabilities. I mean, that community is sharp. So it is really, we are hoping to continue that collaboration in future as well. And other than that, we have one ongoing pre-employment transition program in Youth Detention Center here in Jackson County. And that is our ongoing program. And for summer, we're taking break from schools currently. And other than that, our life skill advisor, who, like I said, runs youth programs, she's working with individuals now for employment navigation programs. So, yeah, that's it for us. Thank you.
That's cool. There's some things in the chat. Laurel says that they're helping with a NAMI mental health training at the library in September for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and they hope to have parents attend. That is very important. Next, their name is Maria, and they are the youth coordinator for Tri-County Independent Living in Crescent City in California. They are currently sick and lost their voice, so typing. They are new to their position, but are learning a lot about the role and are excited to see what the future holds with the work that they'll be doing. I wish you the best, and I know that it can be a fun position. So does anyone else want to go? Alan, hello. Oh, why does it say you?
Hi everyone. Hey Harm. My name is Alan Cruz. I use pronouns he, him, and I work with the Dell McIntosh Center, DMC, here at California Independent Living Center. And just to share a little bit of what we got going on this summer, we typically have every year we have what we call the Youth Summer Academy. And so we got that set up for this year. Our theme for this year is going to be next steps, navigating life into transition. And basically what we're going to have the youth look at is a little bit of how is it to transition from high school to college or work or other things that the youth want to do after high school. So we got some activities planned. Our summer academy this year will be 3 days. So it will be from August 2nd to August 4th. And the first 2 days will be activities in the morning, lessons, and then in the afternoon will be kind of like hands-on activities. We're still kind of working on the activities, but they most likely will be hands-on like activities. And then the last day, which is just a Sunday, we're planning to have a fun day at the park. So we'll be taking our youth to the park and just having like a party with probably some pizza and a bunch of different activities, games that we're gonna have with them the last day of the summer academy. So I just wanted to kind of share that as well. We have also designed shirts. We try to maintain that transition of every year that we have our summer academy. We design a shirt, and so it looks like this year we got one going. So that's pretty cool. I'll make sure to maybe next time we meet, if I have a picture of the shirt, I'll share it with you guys so you can kind of get an idea of what kind of the shirts we design and stuff like that. So that's what we got going on this summer. It's pretty exciting to have it going. There's not much work to do right now for that. It's pretty much done. So just wanted to share what we got going.
It's a big group here. Does anyone else want to go? I think Kayla, you look like you want to talk. You're not on mute, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. I just had to switch which microphone my computer decided it wanted to use. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Kayla Robertson. I'm a youth coordinator at our RCI, which is in St. George, Utah. We're very, very hot right now in the summer, but it is quite fun. I've been with our RCI about 3 years now. Well, into my 3rd year now. It's kind of crazy. And I loved coming to these meetings when I first started because it really helped me get on my feet. So, Maria, good luck as well. I have a couple things that we're doing right now. Our youth program spans the ages from 5 to 24, and I work primarily with 17 and younger. We have our summer youth program that we do in the summer for our 5 to 11-year-olds. We just did an activity last Friday where we did Mario Kart races. We had cardboard boxes. We turned our office, which is kind of like a loop anyways, into a Mario Kart track. And the kids absolutely loved it. A 10 out of 10 would recommend if you ever get the chance. They were much more distracted by that and popping balloons and all that kind of stuff more than the Super Mario Brothers movie that we had going in the background. So they absolutely loved it. We do a lot of different things for this program. It's usually every Friday for about an hour and a half from the beginning of June to the first Friday in August. And we do a lot of fun activities like Mario Kart. We got Mad Scientist Day coming up. We're going to go to a couple museums just to kind of get the kids socializing and interacting with each other. So it's a fun time. And then we do a lot of random activities throughout the school year. Right now, my partner in crime can probably tell you about all her stuff if she wants to hop on, not to throw you under the bus, Lindsay, or anything, but that's something that I can leave for you to talk about. But we have a lot of fun things going on down here. So that's my little spiel.
Lindsay looks like she wants to talk. I can't hear you. You're not on mute, but it might be another
Is that
microphone
better?
situation. There, yeah.
Hey, our microphones are kind of weird on our computer sometimes, but I'm partner in crime over here. She called me out, so I'll come introduce myself. My name's Lindsay. I am the new youth coordinator over here at RCI St. George, just like Kayla. I've been here since about March, so I'm a little bit new, but I'm definitely getting my feet on the ground and learning a lot. I cover ages 18 to 24. And so we have a couple different support groups for that age range. We have our youth transitions, which with that group, I like to focus on transition ages and transition activities and stuff. So we're learning about meal prep, budgeting, a bunch of stuff like that. We have an autism support group that is 18 to 30 right now. And then we have our older youth group as well. So we have a bunch of different activities with my older youth group. I just try to do some fun activities within the community and stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out some of that. We also have a school program that we call TAPS, which is a transition advocacy program where we go into all of the high schools around here once a week for about an hour to teach lessons. We've got a stress management lesson, oh my gosh, I'm just looking through all of them. Self-advocacy, we've got bunch of lessons. So that's kind of a little bit about our program and program with our older youth.
Awesome. Rosie, I think you want to go next.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Rosie Vasquez. and I am with Disability Connections. So we serve Jackson, Lenawee, and Hillsdale County. I'm the life skills advisor. I started in January, and then I started teaching pre-ETS classes, so the pre-employment training courses. So I actually work with youth from ages 12 to 26. I did have some middle school classes. One class that had middle school and a couple high school students, and then a young adult program. And then we also go to the Youth Detention Center in Jackson. So with that group, I have kids that range from 12 to 17. So that is the widest range for the ages. So I do have to shift my lessons depending on what group I have, because they come and go, to make sure it's age appropriate and that they are understanding everything that I'm trying to lay down for them. And this summer we had a MI internship prep. So we partnered with Michigan Works, and it was for students ages 16 to 21. And it was a 3-week in-person professional development training for employment. And it was from 1 to 4, and at the end of that, they received a $1,200 stipend for participating. So that was a nice little incentive to get students to come and work on some employment skills. So we practice interviewing and introducing themselves, and they just sort of they were practicing that over the 3 weeks. And at the end, they had a big mock interview, and they all interviewed each other, but we did like a panel of people asking questions, and then at the end they had to ask us a question, the employers. So that was really good to see them put all that practice to use, and they got money out of it, which was fun. And then we provided light snacks and refreshment. But like I said, I just started this year, so we haven't done too much other things with the youth. And I know our youth program is a bit smaller, so I do want to eventually get into some peer support groups, or just having some youth groups come together. So I would love to hear about everybody else's youth groups, and just to see what I can take from you guys and hopefully incorporate it here with us. But yeah.
Does anyone else want to introduce themselves and what they're doing? I think most people are gone. Sharon wants to say something to Rosie, but the whole text hasn't gone through yet. Okay. So since I am new to this, Alan asks, Alan asks, I would like to see if anyone has some cool ideas for activities that we can do at the park.
I have a little suggestion. So scavenger hunts seem to be a fun thing to do at parks, just getting using pictures and some words depending on the students, what their range of abilities are, making sure we include everybody in there. That is always fun, having them kind of either on their own look for things, or as teams or pairs, and just kind of coming up with some basic things for them to look for, and then either having a prize at the end, or top 3, or just everybody gets something. All depends on the organization and the students, but there's a suggestion.
Kind of to go off of what you're saying, Rosie, is that I actually did an outdoor scavenger hunt escape room with some of my kiddos at a park not too far away from here. I did a lot of Pinteresting and I looked up a lot of different things. It was kind of a pilot to see if we could do an escape room and then see how much the kids liked it. And the kids absolutely loved it. We had like a rock scramble where they had to find the words in the clue of rocks. They had to go pop water balloons to find the key to a lock. They had to ultimately go through a bunch of different puzzles and things looking for the other things. So definitely agree with Rosie there. Scavenger hunts are really fun outside.
A simple one that I've done before too is we called it a speed friendship conversation starters. So essentially it was like speed dating, where I had the kids line up on the side of a park bench and sit across from each other. And then I had bowls with a bunch of different questions for them to talk about and ask each other. And so I wanted to work on conversation skills with them and being able to hold a conversation, working on eye contact, working on like asking them the question in return and stuff. And they did so well. We literally sat and asked questions and rotated for like 45 minutes. So even just like simple activities like that, just that you could do in your center or wherever you guys meet outside is amazing for these kiddos. And so that one was actually a lot of fun. The kids all really loved it, being able to talk with one another. So it's a good like peer activity where they're able to talk with each other and work on those conversation skills.
The audio now unmuted.
This is Alan. Thank you all so much for those great ideas. Those are awesome. I'm also reading some on the chat and those are awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hey Sharon,
Hello?
can you hear it? Uh,
Yes, I can hear. I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you want to talk?
No, I'm sorry. I had actually picked up a call and I didn't put my mic on mute. I do apologize.
Oh, it's okay. So, with me being new with this meeting, I kind of wanted to go over like what you guys wanted to get out of like this meeting. So I do have like some ideas myself. So for example, with this meeting, we can all share and talk about resources that you guys find helpful at your centers and kind of try to exchange what you think might be beneficial. And then talking about kind of like what we just did about what's exciting about your programs and things that you're doing, and also talking about ideas or struggles you might be having in your programs to kind of like bounce ideas and get support that way. Um, uh, Asking about barriers and needs, and then polls on like what you guys want to talk about in the next meetings. But I want to hear your feedback and what you guys want from this meeting, because it can be pretty much anything that we like build and want it to be for you guys. I also thought about talking about the emotional side about being this kind of service provider in the peer support way, because I know that working at an ILC and working with consumers. It's really fun, but sometimes it can be a lot depending on what the consumer is going through. So so now I kind of want to get feedback from all of that and see what you guys want to see from this meeting.
I think something very helpful for me is definitely sharing, kind of like we did today, about ideas of activities and where to do them and how to do them. Because sometimes we create these goals with these kids and I don't know how to teach it to them or in a way that can make it fun and engaging. So I think sharing activities ideas, lessons ideas, stuff like that would be amazing. Also like success stories, being like, this worked really well with my kids in my center, and then gives us more ideas for all of us to be able to do, to kind of collaborate together and just kind of create some new ideas. So I think that would be amazing.
Okay.
Just to tag along onto that is that our center covers 9 different counties in southwestern Utah, and we have 2 outreach centers out of the 4 outreach centers we have with us that are currently doing small youth activities in their respective areas. And we would love to expand because we know that there is a lot of other youth that haven't been able to use our services because of how rural they are. So I would be really interested to know about some of the ways that you all can reach your outreach areas, whether activities or assistive technology. Something else we do is IEP support. So if you have any of that kind of information, that would be really helpful for us. But just how to be able to help expand those programs would be awesome.
Outreach can be a very struggling thing for an independent living center. That was one thing that I found that was the hardest.
I get you.
Oh, Laurel said in the chat that they offer benefits counseling and asks, do any of you help with WIPA Ticket to Work?
Is that the Ticket to Work program?
I believe so.
So I've heard about Ticket to Work down here in southern Utah, but I am not familiar with the way that it works. It would be really nice if we could incorporate that into our programs. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to do that recently, but I have heard of it.
Does anyone else have any ideas on how they want to, you know, structure or have ideas on what you want to see from these meetings?
It could be helpful if you sort of like choose a topic and then just let us know beforehand, and maybe we could either come up with questions or suggestions or other things, and then when we end the meeting, maybe we could sort of decide together on like the next topic, just so it could be like focused on a certain area.
Okay, yeah. One thing that I need from you all, because the person before me didn't save anything, so I don't have anyone's contact information that goes to any of the meetings that I facilitate. So I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and then if people can email me of like their uh, you know their contact information and attendance and be like, hey, I was part of like this YCC meeting, and then I can put you in a roster that I can make myself, and I can also remind you guys of like these meetings as well if you guys need that. And whenever we do something that might involve resources or like meeting notes, you would have that as well. But like Rosie was saying, we can use this for topic ideas as well before our meetings.
Something that just came to mind that I would like to know more about, if anybody else at their SIL has their youth participating in any like board meetings or attending any sort of council meetings. Do you guys, any of you have any students working on advocacy things? I would love to hear about that.
I would love to jump in on this first and foremost because there's a few different things that our center does participate in to help with that. First and foremost, we've got our Ninja Conference, which is through the state. It is essentially the youth leadership conference. They go through an online application process. They do phone interviews for the youth to be able to qualify to go and spend a week at Utah State University. We live on the dorms, we eat their cafeteria food, and then we do classes on leadership, some independent living skills, teach them about advocacy and voting and a bunch of other stuff. Then we do some fun things like rock climbing or ropes course. We'll do things like a dance. We have a talent show that everybody gets excited to share what they love to do. And it's a big hit for all of the kids that we've had go. Overall, we get about 30 kids across the state of Utah, and it's for ages 16 to 24. And then if you've been for 3 years, you can reapply to be a mentor where you can help plan the conference. Along with that, there's the Youth Leadership Committee. It's a statewide leadership committee that we have for Utah youth. I think they have to be 16 and up, but it could be 18 and up. I need to double check with our state representatives. It's run by youth, and they do things for the youth. They plan the Ninja Conference as well with the mentors. They'll take a couple youth out to Washington, D.C. for some of their disability advocacy awareness events out there. They will plan activities or events, networking, all sorts of kinds of things for those kinds of things in terms of the advocacy realm. And then on our personal note, our TAPS program that Lindsay was talking about, we actually will hire young adults ages 18 to 30 to teach the classes in the school. And we do staff meetings with them. It's essentially a training meeting for them to learn how to be teachers, because a lot of them have not had prior experience to teach. And so we really give them the opportunity. The only incentives that they have to have is that they want to be an advocate, they have to be in the age range, have a disability, and then reliable transportation. So it's been a really cool experience to work with these young adults and to see the youth just fly with some of these skills that they learn in those areas. And the mentors, they may not stay very long because it is a part-time position, but they move on to bigger and better things, and they've acquired a lot of good skills while they've worked for us. And so it's been really a cool way to see them grow in that. So hopefully that gives you a couple ideas.
Yes, thank you. Oh, could you put in the chat the name of your guys' cell just because I missed the beginning?
No worries. Our SIL is RRCI, Red Rock Center for Independence.
I do see, Laurel, what you put in the chat, so thank you about the Florida Youth Leadership Forum through the Florida Independent Living Council Incorporation, and that your cell helps students sign up to go in Tallahassee. Awesome. I definitely wanted to look more into them, so thank you. Thank you both.
We have about 15 minutes left. Since we already talked about choosing a topic before the next meeting, I kind of wanted to start that conversation now and then email it to you guys later. So what are some ideas for a topic for next time?
We could talk about outreach into communities that is focusing obviously on the youth, so either schools or like Boys and Girls Club, just what sort of things could we do to get more in touch with the youth?
Like advertising, just to like clarify, like to recruit more youth to come and join us in independent living, or just to see how we can make more connections of community integration?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
But more so like the second one, creating more connections with the youth, because like with even students in general ed, for them to become aware, I think it's really important that we educate all students on disabilities, and if we can get more kids that don't have a disability to come and participate, and making it integrated with all of our kids.
I like it.
Something that I've had success with when it comes to outreach is not necessarily outreaching about your services specifically, but if you outreach for a specific topic and then talked about it with youth or staff or whoever you want to outreach to, that has given people more awareness of what I do and naturally has people asking me questions about services or even like asking me to do another type of like workshop for another thing versus just outreaching for services, which I think is still important because it does raise awareness. But also if you want that actual connection with people, I think that emotional connection with something that, giving education on certain topics, which could be like disability acceptance, especially for youth. It could be about um uh mm, it could be about um I'm blinking on ideas right now, but that's just another idea on outreaching when you go to, schools or uh things of that nature. Crystal from Amesville in Illinois. They said we are looking towards increasing our elementary age group awareness. We could use some ideas on how to increase interest in sales with the families of the younger groups. Okay.
I would also second that motion from Crystal because I work with the younger youth as well.
Um, can I ask what the barrier is with parents in that area? Like, is it just that they're not aware of the cell, or that they're not sure, their kid would benefit from going to the youth program?
That's a great question. At least for our center, I have noticed that a lot of the parents just don't know what to expect with this age group as they get older because they are so young. Independence is not necessarily high on their priority list for them. They often are looking for a lot of information and referral. The IEP support has been a huge thing down here because a lot of the parents moving into kindergarten don't know what to expect versus the preschool IEPs because they are different. And I think a lot of the parents are just trying to get them through ABA therapy and try to have a handle on their emotions with one-on-one more than just interacting with other kids and being able to be in this kind of environment. So I found that it's really hard to have parents try to use our services because they want to get all of these other ones that seem like a higher priority to them for this younger age. And then with the schools do provide a lot of assistance already, but it kind of depends on whether they want to use our services or not. So it's a hit and miss.
Yeah. We can have that as an actual topic because I already have like a couple ideas in my head. Um, um, Kendra asks if anyone is doing anything to help celebrate the ADA this month. Sharon said a great topic for outreach this month could be Disability Pride because it's Disability Pride Month. So you could outreach to your LGBT center, or if one of your schools has a LGBT club, you could outreach there. Kendra is partnering with the Disability Pride Parade on the 13th and Accessibility Awards on the 27th. And then I think Crystal's answering my question that they cover very large territory of counties and they think it's a lack of awareness of what a cell is in general. I agree with that. The misunderstanding for them is that people assume that they are strictly adult services. So when they try to bring to that awareness that they are more than that, they are definitely interested in providing more social activities while giving parents access to information. Do you guys do any meetings with parents, like a parent peer support group?
I can just kind of speak a little bit onto that. We had a parent support group that was sponsored through the Utah Parent Center here in Utah for a little while. They had a separate group called Family Network that helped us. But we didn't have very many parents that came. We were surprised because I had heard a lot of parents asking me if there were support groups in town for parents, if they
Yeah.
could ask questions, but nobody would come. We'd have one maybe every 2 months. We had one night that surprised us when we had 6 parents. It was amazing, but most of the time we had nobody. So it was hard and disheartening for the parent who was putting it together. Um, and that may be something we can revisit in the future to see if there's any parents that are interested in that. But there has been a hard, what's the word?
Yeah.
Audience
Yeah.
here, I guess.
I'm also surprised by that because it being even just in the disability community, right? Like
Mhm.
take out ILCs, the disability community, a lot of parents are like, I need help with this child. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what services they need or want. And just emotionally they get overwhelmed. So I'm surprised
Mhm.
that when an actual like peer support group is available, that most parents don't take it. I know that there's a lot that are on Facebook groups. So for example, I'm part of my disability starts like when you're born. That's how you're kind of like diagnosed. So there is a support group for my disability. And when I joined it, it's just parents of like the babies essentially like trying to support each other. And then there's a separate one for teens and adults, so that they don't have to be bombarded by a lot of parents who are like, I need help. Um, and
Fair.
so I'm wondering if like a traditional parent peer support group doesn't work, that maybe another avenue might be more successful, like hosting some kind of Facebook group that's associated with your ILC.
Definitely. That's a really good idea. I hadn't really thought about doing one through our RCI. Personally, I think that's a great idea. I do know that there has, at least with some of the parents that I've talked to and some of the teachers when I do come down here, is that they initially say that, but then they're like, well, if there's not very many resources down here, I might as well start my own group. So some of these parents have already started meeting at lunch groups with other parents with kids that are in their similar age group, or they've started their own Facebook groups. We have a Southern Utah Autism Support Group on Facebook down here, I think. And then there was one county in our outreach that has one at a local library. But other than that, and I think it's similar with the elementary schools too, that because there's not enough paraprofessionals to go around to give some of their youth one-on-one staff to be able to help with some of the behaviors or to help with some of their educational goals, that the parents will become the paraprofessionals themselves. And so there's kind of a stigma almost where the parents feel like they have to be responsible for their own kids' education or supports. And then it becomes difficult for when services like us want to help the kids to be independent when the parents already are doing everything for them and they don't know how to switch into that. So hopefully we
I see
can
that a lot.
do something with this online Facebook group. I think that would be really, really beneficial for us to host something like that. So fingers crossed.
And another thing with the Facebook group, somebody from the SIL could record a video and sort of just get a topic started, and then people can comment, chime in when they need to, and then eventually it could be like, oh, we're gonna host a Zoom meeting at this time for anybody who would like to join it, and then you could record it and then post it to the Facebook group or something.
I love that. I love that.
All right, it is been an hour. So we are at the end of our time. Does anyone have any questions or comments before we all go? Okay. Well, I am thankful that everyone showed up, and I got to meet all of you, and these are some really good topics, and it's cool to hear like other people's activities and other skills too. All right. I will see you guys next time, which will be, let me see. I think it's gonna be this. Yeah, so it's gonna be August 6th. And that's gonna be our next meeting, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. August 6th is the next meeting. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you.